Alec, today we are going to talk about The Wild Robot from writer-director Chris Sanders. Came out last year, 2024, animated feature. So why don't you get the conversation started here on this one?
So I was not planning on seeing this film at all. You happened to watch it, and Laura really wanted to watch it. And so she ended up buying this on Blu-ray because we missed it in the theaters. And so she was like, sat down, she watched it and just fawned over it, loved it. She really liked it. And so I was like, all right, cool. I was like, since you've seen it, and then I kind of asked you, I was like, is it anything that you'd want to talk about on the podcast? And you were like, sure, let's discuss. So I sat down and I went to Laura. I was like, hey, I'm going to need to watch The Wild Robot. Do you want to watch it? She's like, yes. I didn't even finish the question. She's like, yes, let's watch The Wild Robot. So she really likes this film. I got to say, I went in with medium expectations for this film, because obviously this guy helped write and direct How to Train Your Dragon, The Croods. So he's definitely has some cred behind him. So I was like, I did expect something from this film. The first thing I got to say is this film is gorgeous. Absolutely visually stunning. That alone makes this something to talk about. So I right afterwards, I started reading all about how do they manage this. And it was basically, they're talking about it's a hand painted CGI style that they had to kind of recreate from the ground up. They had to break some CGI tools from other different animated films. And so Laura was really talking about, she loves it because it feels very kind of watercolor in a lot of aspects of CGI, but then also that has a lot of Studio Ghibli or Hayao Miyazaki, that kind of a little bit of flavoring in it or reminiscent of it. I wouldn't say it's a complete ripoff. Obviously, he still hand draws all his stuff, but it has that feel to it of the world. And so she really she loves Studio Ghibli stuff and specifically Miyazaki stuff. So she's really loved that aspect of it. The story wise, I liked it. It was semi feel good. There wasn't anything, I wasn't amazed by it. I saw a lot of the story beats coming. There's nothing here that I'm going, oh my goodness, this revolutionized whatever. But I got to say, it was really good. And then musically, I thought it was really done really, really well. Outside of the pop songs, I was not a fan of the pop songs that they played, but the actual music, I went back and listened to the soundtrack the next couple days working and was just like, this is really good. There's a lot of stuff in it that I started to add to my own little soundtrack playlist that I have that kind of runs when I'm working. So I really dug it. I thought it was excellent. So, but
yeah, I mean, I like you, I went in with pretty much no expectations. I mean, I'd seen a trailer. We took our daughter to see this in kind of the cheaper theater in town that does a really nice job, frankly. They're in a dying mall. But the ticket prices are low and the concessions are really good and they're clean and the picture and the sound are always dialed in. And Gwen and I probably liked it better than our daughter did. You ask our daughter about whether she, what'd you think? She, nah,
But she says that about everything.
Everything. Yeah. She's impossible to please. But I really enjoyed it. I think the film definitely hits different if you're a parent. It just it's going to. Voice work's all really good. You're right. The animation style is incredible. I feel I really feel like the Spider-Verse films really kind of championed a CGI take on a hand-drawn look. And this just seems to elevate it and take it to another level. It was really interesting because the film, not every movie can pull this off. I think the Avatar films pull this off really well just because of how immersive the worlds are. But this movie gives you a very 3D effect without having to wear the glasses due to its style, which is really impressive. Very immersive. The emotional beats, yeah, everything's really fairly predictable as far as where it's all headed, but it's still a pretty good story told well.
Yeah.
The execution level is really high, even though you're right, the story is not anything earth shattering. And then I think I told you the plot is nothing alike, but this feels like a spiritual successor or kin to the Iron Giant.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came away from it like with some of the same emotional beats, and obviously the, robot, like the filmmakers had to have like, I just felt like Iron Giant was like an inspiration to, for this to get made. Like it just felt that way. And Iron Giant to me is like a standard bearer when it comes to like the last of the hand-drawn animated feature films, especially one that was like almost felt like it was made more for like teenagers and adults than it was kids. This one, I can't really quite figure it out, and almost felt this Wild Robot almost feels like it's made for an older audience with enough stuff peppered in that kids will like pay attention to it. It doesn't, it almost feels like Shrek in that regard. Like I felt like I was being more catered to as a 43-year-old parent taking their kid to this movie than watching like a true children's film. Like it felt that way. The themes there, I think, work on a dual level of, if you're a parent or an adult, you're looking at it more from the perspective of Roz. And I think the younger you are, you're looking at it more through the eyes of Bright Bill. So it really is working on two levels in tandem really well. I can't believe that that's Lupita voicing Roz. Like I just, based on everything I've ever seen her in, she's a great actress, but like she's incredible. Like, like, I mean, I thought she was talented to begin with. I mean, she's the one that when we discussed Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I'm just like, why don't they make her Black Panther? Like, what are we doing?
Why?
Why? What's, she's great. I mean, an immense talent, obviously can do the voice work, and everybody in it is really pretty perfect. And I did recognize Bill Nighy as soon as he
opened his mouth.
I was like, yes, because I love Bill and everything he's in. So,
well, and we talk about, like, here's Pedro Pascal again, as a pretty heavy role, and he does a great job. Like, I really felt like he did the Fox excellent. Like he thread that needle of being wily but trying to be friendly.
It's a very funny character.
It's a very funny character. And again, I'm not tired of him. Like he's in everything, and I'm still not tired of him yet. So
that guy grinded for so long to get where he's at.
Yeah.
That I don't think I can get sick of him. Like, I know overexposure is a real thing with viewers and audiences. I've got more patience for someone that like grinded that long to get. It's like it's almost like Steve Carell just outlasted everybody to get where he is. Like, it wasn't. Everybody thinks he's an overnight success. It's like, you have no idea.
No, my goodness, he was.
It's like decades of just.
Well, he talked about up and almost till its 40s, he was waiting tables or something along those lines. I forget how late, like, until he actually made enough money that he didn't have to wait tables anymore.
It's unreal. Yeah. It's unreal. Yeah.
No, I mean, that was a big investment by his wife too, that ended up paying off though for Steve Carell too. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She believed in his ability. Yeah. This bears discussion. We've talked about it before, but I need to bring it up again. Like, if somebody's like got dreams of like acting in particular, you need to be willing, and you have enough people that have told you like you have enough ability, because otherwise you will be spinning your wheels. But you're just gonna have to basically be able to be out there forever until it hits. Like, and you may just only be a character actor. And you may have to do other stuff to pay the bills, but like, it's just a waiting game. Like,
that doesn't.
It all is like that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we've never really delved into we've never really discussed like why we left. Like, and it wasn't. I mean, things weren't going well for me, particularly as far as like creatively, but priorities shifted. And like being in post-production out there was no longer like the number one dream.
Priority, yeah.
No. I went out there with the intent of being an editor, and then that turned into color grading, and I was doing it at an independent film level, which I still do, but it's a very difficult place to like date, very difficult place to like be a homeowner.
Yeah.
Like find a spouse, like all these things shifted. I think pretty much once I turned 30, it was like,
it became, what do you want out of life? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
Are you going to sit grinding this that may or may not come? Because there's a lot of people. I mean, I remember even doing extra work, and there was people in their 40s and 50s.
Yes.
And some of them have been, talking with them. Some have been doing this stuff, looking for their big break for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it may never come. I mean, some of them, it may be they just didn't have the talent, and this is all they can do. But I know talking to some of them, I feel like some of them did have the talent, and just it's not. They never got their break, and never caught that moment.
They didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
or they didn't get to in the right people or know the right people.
And that's the luck aspect of it that they talk about is when ability meets opportunity. And there are a lot of people out there with ability and no opportunity, or there were.
Yeah.
I think that number's rapidly shrinking, but no, it's probably good for us to like discuss that. Cause it's, I was out there for what? Six.
Yeah. Cause I was out there for 5.
6 years. Yeah. And really, if you could do 3 years, they basically told you like you could be out there pretty much as long as you wanted to, as long as you, had some sort of job like that the 3 year was kind of if you got past that, it was like, if you're leaving, it's because you want to leave.
Yeah.
Like it's not because you necessarily have to. And I didn't necessarily have to. And then I landed more work when I left. Like
you did.
Yeah, I did. It was weird. It's the most bizarre thing ever. You leave and you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm going to go be dailies colorist for NBC and AMC and travel. But yeah, it's a tough place. So yeah, Pedro paid his dues and then some.
Paid his dues. Yeah.
But yeah, if we've got some listener out there, it's just, even if it's just one person that's like got ambitions for acting, I mean, hats off, do it. But like, you're gonna have to like, there can't. Carell basically said there can't be, and Offerman said the same thing. Mm-hmm. Nick Offerman had the same deal because he didn't hit Parks and Rec until like,
oh my goodness,
yeah, he was so much older, like his 40s, I think, and he basically said there can't be an end date on this. Like, if you really want it, you're just gonna have to outlast everybody. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Well, that's the joke I always say is that, if we were to ever go back, I'd actually have less of a pool of people to go through. I could be closer to being more successful now in my 40s than when I was in my 20s, because there was a dime a dozen. But even then I have left, and we'll have to make a lot of those connections again and do all that grinding again as well. So, yeah. Believe me, man, when I watched La La Land and she was going through all of those auditions, I was getting a little PTSD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't miss that. Not at all. Not in the least.
No.
So, but The Wild Robot.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that was a little tangent, everybody. We went off on,
yeah.
Well, it happens. Sorry. Going back. So I say the story was, I knew the beats, but I think you said it best of the story wise, it actually is excellently told. It's, it's well done. It may be a story that we've heard many times before, but I don't think that's not a true negative on it. It's just more of don't go in expecting to be amazed by the story. Like, it's solidly told. It's more some of the visuals, some of the other stuff that's going to really blow your socks off when you watch this film.
Honestly, it's a little less cookie cutter than Avatar.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because I couldn't pinpoint like a storyline that they were pulling for The Wild Robot like I could with Avatar, with Dances with Wolves and what's the other one?
It's
the cartoon.
The cartoon. Oh my goodness! Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow.
Combination. Yeah. which is fine. I mean, but yeah, Avatar's Fern Gully meets Dances with Wolves with giant blue people. So
I do like that they continue to kind of focus a lot on Roz. I mean, obviously this was more her story, but like I feel like a lot of those stories that it takes off, you always kind of follow. Like you would have followed Bright Bill more so than with Roz, whereas here this focus was on Roz. So that was a nice change of pace, I think, than what you get with a lot of other stuff. Just because, this is the point of the story, but it is a different to follow the mother after the child has left the nest.
The film is not about being a kid and coming of age. It is about parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
At its core,
building community and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it really tells the tale of parenthood rather well, because you have this robot who is like designed for a completely different job, thrust into parenthood, which is basically how it really happens anyway. You live your life and then it's just like thrust upon you, maybe planned or not, and then it's like learning on the fly. Like it's just, and so that was really funny, just watching her like try to like reprogram herself on the fly on how to like raise this.
Yeah. How to teach it to fly, how to teach it to swim, how to teach it to do all the things. Yeah.
And then you raise this thing and you teach it all these things and then you have to let it go.
Yeah.
Which is where all the parents in the audience are like,
crying their eyes out.
Getting misty. Lots of particulates in the theater at that particular point in time, irritating the sinuses and such. Yeah, I got a little misty eyed.
Yeah,
because we've got Laura's 7, she'll be 8 in the spring, and I got 10 more years, and she's probably out of the house, which is like hard to believe, but that's just the way it goes. So yeah, the movie. If you're a parent, I mean, you don't have to be a parent to enjoy the movie.
No,
right? You don't.
I'm not, and I enjoy it.
But if you are, it hits just a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say, Laura, basically after the first 10 minutes of the movie, she was like, did I just create this movie out of my head? Essentially, because it was like, it's otters, it's the ocean, and it's a robot. Like, she's like, my favorite things. Yes. Like, what the heck?
I thought of you guys when I saw it in theaters and the otters are all there. I was like, oh, they would.
Well, yeah, totally. She was just like, this is my movie. I think I just created this in my mind and manifested this onto the screen. Yeah. This is not really what this is about.
It's so funny too, watching the way they all react to
it. Oh my goodness. She was, when we sat down, she was just like, okay, you really have to pay attention to the beginning. Like you really have to focus on the beginning.
Really have to, you're going to miss all the key plot points.
You're just going to miss the otters. That's all that's going to matter. Oh, so I do have to say, like this, I'm going to go back to the animation because I cannot say it enough stuff. Like, go back to your point. Like, I don't like, and I don't think you meant it this way, but like, I don't think this is better than Spider-Verse movies. I think it's went into a different direction than the Spider-Verse movies.
No, I just meant the style.
Yeah. But I also love kind of being able to push CGI this way of making this hand painted or not having it to be this realistic or even the same, like in Spider-Verse 2, basically even the same genre each time. Like, let's change it up. Like, let's make it feel like we've got these super powerful computers to do all this stuff. Let's change it up. Let's see what we can do. We can push it forward of kind of how we can really do. And I think this is a brilliant way to do it. It's stunning. It is absolutely stunning. It feels like it does feel hand painted. Like, I mean, I know it's hand painted CGI or whatever they're terming it as, but like, I could have told you that it feels very close to hand drawn, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, and it's not just the shapes of stuff, the color palette, like you said, it does have almost a pastel watercolor kind of feel. I mean, there's the whole aesthetic is just really interesting to look at. Like, I'm with you. I'm glad that some of these animated features have shifted back towards a more organic kind of look, less sterile. But what I find ironic is that, like, who is the production company for this? Was it DreamWorks?
Yeah, it's DreamWorks.
It's like Disney feels like they've all but abandoned this stuff now. Like it just, all I'm getting from Disney are these live action, either remakes or prequels. Because we did just watch Mufasa. Over the holidays.
No interest.
DreamWorks feels like the leader now. Either them or what is it? What's the studio that does the Despicable Me?
Oh, Illumination.
Yeah. Like they're at those two, and then I guess probably a third one I'm not thinking of, but they're like the leaders, like the thought leaders in this stuff now. Obviously Pixar is like kind of a standard bearer, but Pixar's not really embraced. It's not what it was. A lot of those people left. But they're not going towards this style, at least not yet. And they may not, but I prefer this. Like, I love Toy Story and stuff, and I wouldn't change the way it looks, necessarily. But this, I think there's a sandbox you can play within.
Yeah.
With this style, with variations on this style that don't all look alike. Like, I think you can really. My question though, just from a creative standpoint, is like, how much work is AI going to end up, the algorithm would end up generating some of these scenes and taking, shrinking the crews down where the artists aren't really
doing anything,
doing as much. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean,
we could have had AI do all of the mundane task work and numbers stuff and left us all to the creative, but nope, we use it for creative and let us keep all the number stuff. This is dumb.
It is. Yeah. I forget who was it said that was like, we need to be using AI for the stuff that we don't really want to do, but the arts is the last place it should ever touch.
Absolutely.
Now there are exceptions to that. Cause I mean, I use algorithm stuff to clean up audio.
But again, that's more of the mundane stuff. That's not the creative aspect of it. That's just like going through and taking out the breaths or taking out the ums or things of that sort. Not like, oh, how do I edit this film to make it come together in an interesting way?
Yeah.
So I want to go back and talk about the joke that DreamWorks is outpacing Disney in creativity. But there's that joke that Jack Black used to say when he was, Kung Fu Panda. He's like, what my success formula is you do the DreamWorks film and then you bet it all on Disney winning the Oscar for Best Animated Film. That's like, at some point that's going to be flip flop. You're going to do the Disney film and bet on DreamWorks winning the Oscar. Yeah.
Now, how well so this was an expensive one to make, $78 million.
It did $324 million worldwide last I checked. So
that's the number I'm seeing. That's
like
good.
4 times its budget. Mm-hmm. 4 times its budget.
Yeah,
which is great. So, and hopefully they don't need to do a Wild Robot 2. I think this is a full story. I mean, also it's also based off a book.
Okay.
And the book I think is a story. So.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, money, man. The money talks though. What's interesting, this is an animated film that's like in a 235, 239 widescreen aspect ratio.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting.
So it's not going to fill your screen?
No, but it feels more cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels more epic. I tend to think things shot in the, closer to 240, feel more grand.
Yeah.
Like, and the way you have to compose the frame is so much different because you've got such a wide frame that's not, not very tall. It demands compositionally, it's kind of a little more demanding than like HD or 185, which is like the common 35 millimeter aspect ratio, which is pretty close. So this does a good job of like working within that widescreen. You just don't see usually animated features. They don't do in like this super widescreen aspect ratio is kind of different. So interesting creative choice. I think it works. The Roz even looks like just visually even looks like the Iron Giant a little bit as far as the round eyes and like, so there's definitely nods here.
Well, I do like how they allowed her a lot of movement ability of being able to like flip around or telescope the arms and, made her own thing. She's just not like a, something else that has been around. But so I felt that was really interesting.
Well, she's like super capable. I mean, like
she's supposed to help everything. She's got tasks too, buddy. Sorry.
Oh my God. No, yeah, she is like well prepared for the environment. And it was cool with all the ones that had washed ashore earlier. She was trying to get stuff up and running. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this one will make you laugh. It'll make you cry. Everything in between. I think it is excellent. Definitely one of the, I don't know where, I'm not going to do a ranking, but it's pretty up there for me for films from last year and what I consider a pretty lean year.
Yeah.
There weren't many. And this is one I came out of. I was like, man, I looked at Gwen. I was like, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. And then, ask Laura. Yeah.
Meh. It's the best.
It is. Kid is ridiculous. Yeah.
Maybe we need to get a ranking of her favorite movies at some point.
She wants us. So she's requested. She's given me a request.
Oh, she has. Okay.
She wants us to do Inside Out 2, but I have to have. She got the anxiety doll, which I don't like, but my mother bought her the anxiety doll from Inside Out 2, and she wants us to do that film, but she wants anxiety to be in the frame with me.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll put that on the back burner.
Yeah. That's along with Alan's request of the 1966 Batman movie. Yeah. Sorry, Alan.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
We'll get to it eventually.
When we run out of other films to talk about. Oh.
But yeah, this is one that I really should buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we watched it, so she got it on Blu-ray, so I actually got to watch it uncompressed, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
I bet.
We just watched the Blu-ray. We didn't watch the 4K version of it, and it's still stunning.
Yeah,
absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to get into a movie that looks this good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not always all about the visuals, but like there's a lot of spectacle with this, with just the way little blades of grass move and fire and water and snow and foliage is just like, and you go through the seasons. So you get to see that island on like every season. It's great.
It is. Great. It just shows the care that the animators put into this. So it's stunning. Yeah. Well done, team. Well done.
Yes. Interesting. Well, it's sitting at 159 right now in the top 250.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That's impressive. What does it got? It has an
8.2.
Wow. Yeah, but only 112,000.
Yeah.
Votes. So that's a little soft. But it's good.
It is. Yeah. Any
no last thoughts?
No last thoughts.
But it's good. Go see it even if you don't have kids. It's still good. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to talk about next week's movie. We don't know what it is, but we just can't wait to talk about it. So we will see you next Monday with another episode of Cinema A to B.